Okay, selection tool, apply, then use shift and the arrows to move it across. Now I'm just going to move it down a bit. So I'm holding shift and pressing down once, and then I'm going to do the same for the tube. Hold shift and press down. There. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is come into the tube, double click on it. You're going to want to give it a stroke, and you're going to want to make that around 5 pixels. Change the fill type to gradient and click in here. Actually, first we need to make sure that the angle is on 90. Now click in there. For the bottom left one, double click on it and then choose a colour from near the top of your shape, so like that, and click OK, and then on the bottom right one do the same but from somewhere on the bottom of the shape, so it's like that. In fact, I'll make that a bit lighter. There we go, and click OK. Now you're going to want to make the opacity a bit lower. Hang on. Click OK, then change the opacity down to about 50. It works well. There we go. And click OK on that. Next, you're going to want to come back into the U. We're going to add a gradient overlay. I'm going to change the angle to about 110, and then if we move this box out of the way, we're going to click on the gradient. It's already set to black and white, but now I'm going to add a stop about a quarter of the way in. Change that to a lighter black and click OK, and then I'm going to drag this up to about there, and then I'm just going to double click on the right hand side one and I'm going to change that from white just an off white to like a light grey. Click OK, and that gives that effect on the U, and click OK on both boxes. Now we're going to come back into the shape. I'm going to give this a stroke as well. As you can see there, it's put a black stroke around it. Now I want to change this to completely red. You need to make sure that the positions on outside, the size is 3 pixels and blend mode is normal. And then we're going to bring the opacity down to about 50 as well, and click OK. Now we're just going to go into selection tool, we're going to write broadcast yourself, and then I'm going to position it, and I'm going to do Command T or Control T, and then I'm going to just squash it down a bit. And actually I'm just going to make it a little bit thinner as well. There we go. And then I'm just going to move that into position. I'm going to apply the transformation, move that into position, and then I'm going to come back and into the broadcast yourself. I'm going to add a stroke to it. Oh no, sorry, not stroke, gradient overlay. And we're going to go into the colour. We're going to change we're going to keep the bottom one almost black, and we're going to just make it a bit lighter, like that. And then the top one, we're going to also make a grey, quite a light grey. OK, OK, OK. And then there's the finished product. It looks a lot better than the beginners one that I did before. I'll just bring up the beginners one so you can see the difference. Go into documents and click on that. That's the one I did in the beginners tutorial, and as you can see, this one is a lot better than this one. So to save it, just before you save it, come back into Photoshop, and then we're going to just go down to the background, make the opacity nothing, click OK, then come into File, Save for Web and Devices, 100% image size, make sure it's GIF, save it. I'm just going to call it Advanced YouTube Logo, and save it. And then it'll be in My Documents, and there's the new one compared to the old one. So that's the difference. Obviously it doesn't look right in here, but when you move it onto, say, your YouTube channel background or wallpaper or website, it'll look better than it does here. So there, that's the advanced tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate and subscribe.